All right. So that is all about HTML listing tag. Now let's quickly look at the styling aspect. How do we make them more presentable? I believe you can hear me. How do we make them more readable? How do we make this page more user-friendly? So that is where we bring in CSS. So I will just do some styling with the expectation that you should be able to probably style it beyond that standard based on what you have learned so far. So now let's do some styling. So let me quickly create a CSS page or file. I just want it to have a separate CSS file. So I will just say list dot CSS. So of course I have to connect the CSS file to the listing file. So I'll come here as usual, type link, then call the directories by adding slash and go to CSS file, then click here. So which means that remember that we have already started speaking to UL here. This one was where we actually changed the icon. So since I'm using external file, I would prefer I use external CSS file all through. So I'm going to take this away from here. I'm going to
So
come.
please, sorry for disturbing you, please.
Okay,
Sorry, sorry. I'd like to ask something before you continue, please.
okay, continue.
Yeah, now I saw here you were as you created the list HTML there, and you were able to your CSS to that, and I didn't do him. I'm using the same HTML. My question is it possible to create another CSS and connect to the same HTML?
Yeah, yeah, it's possible. Like now, you can see that I connected this one, right? So if I want to connect this CSS to the same file, it's possible. So I will just come here, I will just say link and then this. They come in here. So you can actually connect multiple CSS to a single HTML file. I don't know if that is your question.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Is that your question?
Yeah, that's my question. I got it.
All
I
right.
got it, yes.
All right. So I'll come in here and paste the one I copied from the internal from here. So I'm not going to use this anymore because I have relocated my CSS to my external CSS file. So now I have to check my HTML selector. So there is what we call selector, which we should know at this point. So let me use a comment to write it here. So there's what we call HTML selector. HTML selector. Now, what is HTML selector? HTML selector is the way you reference, the way you reference HTML elements in CSS. So it is called HTML selector. Now, there are three ways we can actually select HTML. We have the first one by the tag name, by the tag name. Okay? So for example, you did not select this by the tag name. The tag name is UL. So if I do something like this, UL, and then I say color, and I say color, let's say red. Okay, so if you are asked, how did you reference this element? Because this element was not created here. This element was created here because you are using external CSS styling concepts. That is why you must talk about this is where you created the element and you now gave it a class name this. So this class name is a unique identifier. That is, if for example, I have another UL here, and I say what? LI, and I say what? Welcome, for example. If I want to talk to this UL content only without affecting this UL. Now, remember that they have the same tag name UL, the same tag name UL. So if I go to the front end, you will see what happened. You can see that it only affected this. You can see that it affected the 2UL, right? The 2UL. This one was the one you created. This is the one I just created. Now, why did it happen like this? Because you call the element by the tag name, and both of them have the same tag name. So it's just like you having two children in your house, one, and give them the same name. Two children in your house, and you give them the same name, Prosper, Prosper. So whenever you call Prosper, there is every possibility that what two of them will respond at the same time. Are you with me? Two of them will respond. If you call Prosper, two of them will answer at the same time. That is what happens. So as I call UL, so the UL in this case represent their common name. Their common name. That is why both of them were involved. The UL here, the UL here, and this UL are given what? The red color. You can see it. This is the first set of UL. This is the second one. But if I want to, which means that I selected them by their tag name. That is why any tag, any content that was created with the UL is affected. So a programmer or a web programmer should know how to manipulate this HTML selection. Now, if I come back here and I use, remember I said you can select by tag name. So I use tag name. Then you can also select, that's the second way of selecting HTML, by class, by class name, by class name. So by class name is when you are using an artificial identification. Why did I call it artificial? Because it was not activated with the tag at the time you activated it. You are the one that added it just because you want to differentiate one element that is using the same tag from other content in the same page. So for example, now, if I come here now and say, like here now, we have already applied it. This is class. So if I come here and I do something like this, let's say what? HTML selector, HTML selector by class name, not by tag name now. Not by, okay, here, yeah, not by tag name. So I'm going to do period, that is dot, to show that I'm selecting class element. Then I'll say what? UL1, just like the way I have selected it here. And then Since if I declare my CSS block and I say color, and I say color, and I say blue, okay? Now, if I come back to my front end, you will notice that only this UL affected. This one is not affected. Why? Because now I am referencing them with their unique name, not their general name. Did you understand that? I want to find out if you are following. Are you following?
No, I'm getting it.
All right. So now there's something I want you,
Yeah, yeah, I'm following.
they will call presidency. Presidency. Presidency means the order. The order. Now, if you come here now, look up. If you come here now and do inline, sorry, internal. Let's say you come here and do internal, because this is something that you ought to have asked, but I know some students have asked in the past. So I want to use their questions to show you something. Now, if I come here and I do UL1 and I open this, okay? And I call the same color and I say this brown. This same UL, you have also called in your external UL1, in your external CSS, but you gave it blue. Then in your internal CSS, you gave it brown. The question is, which one will the CSS obey? Is it this one or this? Now, the order is that CSS recognizes the inline first, followed by internal, and then followed by external. So let me go to the front end now. You see that what? Which one is recognized in this case? So it's still taking what? The external. Okay, now let me show you something here. Something here. Now, I just want you to understand the presidency. So if I take this from here and I bring it after where I link it, then if I go back to the front end, what happened now? Do you notice what happened? Do you notice what happened? I just want to
Mhm.
know it. Good.
Mhm.
Now, what is happening is that initially this code was here. That is what? This one comes first before what? The external, right? The internal comes first before the external. Now, if you go back to the front end, it will respect what? The external. It's following the order of creation. Now,
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Now, if I take it from here and bring it after external, it will respect what? The internal. Are you following? So they all call presidency. That's what I'm trying to teach you. That you can use inline, you can use external, you can use internal to speak to the same element. So it is less for you as a developer to know how CSS will decode it. Now let me show you the inline. This same element UL, if I come here now and do inline, I believe now you understand inline, and I use the same, and I say color, and I say color, and then I say green. So which one do you think is going to respect? Now we have in inline, we have talking to the same element. We have internal, and then we have it as what? External. So external is using blue, internal is using brown, inline is using green. So let's see the one the browser will recognize first. Can you see it now? Do you see what happened? So, oh, sorry, I think I added it in the wrong place. So this is not where I intend to add it. This is where I intend to add it, where we have given it a class. So let's say I'm adding it here. Okay. So now something is not right here. Okay, let me just go back. So let's just say style first, and then we say color, color, then green. I just want you to know this because I'll be using this as we proceed. Now, the question is, this is inline, the same element you class, and you are talking to it with its own class name, the same element in your external file, blue. Now, let's go to the front end. There is an error. Let me refresh and see if we get it good. So you can see what happened. Which one did it obey? It obeyed what? The inline,
The
not
internal.
internal,
In
not the external. So this is what I mean by what?
inline, okay. Mm.
Good. It respected inline in your HTML. Look at it here. This is the inline color. So it did
Yeah,
not
yeah,
take
got it.
this, and it did not take what? The external. So I just want you to hold that. Okay? So just know that you can select the same element in inline. You can also select it external, but just bear it in mind that the CSS will recognize inline first, followed by internal. Now, when it comes to internal and external, it depends on the one that comes first. Okay? So the one that he sees this as the latest is because if you follow the order of creating, you created this line because it's reading line 6 under this. So after line 6, you created what? Line 7. That is the reason why it obeyed this one the other time over this, because it's looking at it from the current, which one was created last. Did you get it? Is that
I
understood?
got it.
All right. So now let's proceed.
Yeah, understood.
Now I want to style the LI. The LI. I want to style the LI because in the last class, I've already told you how you can style or manipulate the marker, because the OL and the UL only produce the marker. Now, the content, the tag that produce the content, which is the LI. Now, I want to style this LI content without affecting this LI content, because the same LI you use in creating content for your OL, the same LI you also use to create content for your UL. So how do I call this LI without affecting? Because if I go to my CSS and I do something like this, styling the
Mhm.
LI tags. If I simply do something like this, let's say what? By name. If I'm calling by name, that is LI, and I do something like this, and I say color, and I say color. Let's say what? Let me use another method of calling color. I believe I must have explained it to you, because I said before, I don't know whether it is your class, where I said there are 3 ways we can reference color. You can call color by name. We can also use a function called ROGB to calculate color. And then we can also use what we call hexadecimal. Is it your class that I've explained that before? Is it your class? Because I know I have other web development classes. So I want to know if it's your class.
I've just remembered 2 ways.
Okay, good. Now, let me use the other, because sometimes when you want to call color and you don't know the name of the color, this is the challenge you have if the only method you know is calling color by name, where you don't know the name of the color, you will run into a problem. Okay, now if you don't know the name of color, you are advised as a programmer to use ROGB. ROGBA or ROGB is a function in CSS which is used to permutate different colors. For example, I can come here and say, okay, ROGBA. Okay, then I open my bracket, ROGBA. But before that, you have to say color. You have to call the property. Then when you want to assign the value, that is when you say ROGBA. ROGB. So you can see that what the R represent red, the G represent green, while the B represents what? Blue. Now, it is now less for you. The highest value you can use to calculate different color is 255. So for example, if I say 255, that is value for red, for R, comma, I want to now specify the value for green. If I say green, 0, is as good as what? No green. If I say blue, 0, it will give me red. Can you see it now? See how I calculated red. Now, if I go to the front end, you see that what? All the LI we affected, all the places where you use LI to create content are affected. But I want to avoid this. I want only this LI content to be affected with the red without affecting this very one. So now for us to be clear with this, let's remove this first. Let's remove this to avoid conflict. Now, if I want to talk to the LI, I want to talk to the LI for OL. I want to talk to OLLI, not ULLI. I am going to use a concept called parent and child element relationship. Parent and child element relationship, which is called CSS combinator. Or, okay, let me leave combinator because combinator is where you are styling multiple elements at the same time. Now, let's stick to parent element relationship. You can select element direct. You can use their parent to select them. A practical example is this. If I go to your village and I call your name, let's say Junior, nobody will know the Junior I am calling because there could be other word Junior in that village. Now, if I now use your grandpapa name, let's say what? Okoro Junior, then it means that the person looking for you will be able to locate you easier through the name of your father. Are you with me? Are you with me? I just want to make it in a way that you understand it. So
Yeah.
now, if I want to talk to this LI without talking to this, one, and I don't want to class it, I will use this class name to reference them. So this one is the parent, and it has a class called what? UL1. So let me remove this so that it will be clear very well for us. Okay, so now we simply use the parent and the child element. So I'll come here and simply say styling the LI only in UL with the class name UL1. So I'll come here and say UL1. Sorry, it's a class. I have to put dots. That is why it did not recognize it. UL1 space, I'll say LI. Then before I declare my CSS bracket. So this is what I was actually talking about. You can see that this is the parent that I'm using to access what? This. Is that clear? Did you understand it?
Yeah, understood.
Good. Now, which means that you are not styling two things. You are styling only one. Which one are you styling? Between this and this, which one are you styling?
We're styling the LI.
Good. So we are only using this one to differentiate the set of LI we want to style. So if I do color now, just watch what we have on. If I do color and I say what? Blue. Now, if I go back to the page, you can see that what? It has dropped what? This LI. Now it's formatted only what? This LI. Because there are LI here there are Li here, but these ones, you selected this one with the apparent. Is that clear?
I got it.
Okay, so the next thing I want to do is for me to know whether this is a block element, to know the width. I want to know whether the whole of the OL, sorry, the UL that generated this item through the LI is a block element. Because I told us that what block elements cover the entire width when they are declared. So what I'm going to simply do to check that, how to check. So let me just put a comment here to check if UL is a block element that uses entire width. What I will simply do, I will say border, I will say 1 ps. 1 ps is the thickness of the line I'm looking for. The type of the line, I'll say, okay, let me use dotted line. The color of the line so that I can see it, let me still use blue. So if I go back to the front end, you see that what? Oh, wow. So it's a block element. You can see that what? It starts from here and then it uses the entire width. So now the idea is that I want to place another object somewhere here. So I don't want this to cover the entire length. So I want to reduce it. I want to actually reduce this from here down to somewhere here. So here I'll bring in maybe a picture or an image to occupy the remaining space. Because after all, this is where your content starts. This is where it ends. What are you doing with the whole of this space? This is like you are wasting your space. So how do you reduce it so that another element can go in there? That is the next thing I want to quickly show us. Now, what I'm going to do is to come here, now that I find out that it's taking the full width, I will say your width that is currently 100%, reduce it to what? Let's say what? 30%. So if I go back now and check, you see that what? You have reduced it. Now you have this space available for another what? Element. Are you with me? Are you following?
Yeah, I'm getting.
So
I'm
now,
getting it.
okay, so what I'm going to do now is that the plan is this. You must have a plan when you are developing. The plan is that I remove this space because I want to bring a picture to fill this place. So what I'm going to do is that I'll create a container and put both this and the picture inside, and then I will flex the content inside the container. I will display flex them so that they can be placed side by side. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to go back to my HTML and redefine the structure So these are techniques you must know. This is what you are talking to, this one. So I'm going to come here and say div. So div is a grouping tag. It's a tag that is used to envelop different sets of what? Tag. Now, why do I want to put them in div? So that I can have that arrangement that I want. So I'll take the closing part of this, right click and cut it, and bring it where it stops here, just to say that the div is actually closing or enclosing the whole this OL with this item inside it. Now, immediately after this, how did this OL came here? I think it's a mistake. Let me remove this. So it's enveloping the UL and its LI. Now, outside this, I'm adding an image tag. Remember, I said I want to place an image beside it. Then I'll bring in an image, go to my image folder, and then let me choose this. Okay. So now if I go back to the website, you see that what the image comes under it instead of where I want this image to be. I want this picture to come here. We are going a little bit advanced now. I want this picture to be placed immediately after this, not under it. Because what is happening right now is that this is displaying block. That is, this is taking separate line, while this is taking separate line. Now, this kind of display, where you have two or more items display on the same line, it is called what? Inline. It is called inline. It is called inline. So where you have item display on a separate line like this, it is called block. It is called block. So what I'm going to simply do is to make this block to display inline. So delete it. Let me go there. So now both of them are in a div. So if I come here just to know that they are in a div, just to check, let me class this and say what? div1. So if I could just do inline just to save my time, and I say what? Border, let's say 2ps, just to check whether both the tag, the UL and the image are actually in one box. That is what I want to check. Then I'll say solid, and then I'll say let's say red. So now if I check again, you will agree. You can see that what? They are actually in one box. So you can see it enveloped this, it enveloped this, not this. This one is outside it. Now, once I have confirmed that both of them are in one box, now I can flex this container. Display flex, which means that what? All the main elements inside you should display what? Inline. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I will just come here. I'm using inline just for me to make it fast. So I will just say display, display. I will say what? Flex. So if I go back now, what did you see? You can see that what? The picture now what? Placed by each side, not under. They are now what? Side by side. Okay? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I can say, okay, this picture, I want to increase the size a little. I will say width, just make it 500 ps. And then if I go back, then I have it bigger. It's just that the length is higher than what? The length of the other information. Okay, so just to wrap it up, this is what we just did now in case of you want to use it next time. So I can come here, just watch this. I'm doing this for the last time on this concept. Then I'll give you some time to play around all this before we bring the class to a close. Now, if you look at this, let's assume I am given a task that would create another example where the display flash will be used. Create a web page and display 3 pictures side by side. 3 pictures. So I'm going to get it. I will say div. Okay, I'm just trying to show you again. So let me just give this one class div2. Then the 3 images comes inside it directly. Call in the first one. This is the first one. You are still inside the div. The second image comes in. Call it, let's say this. That's the second one. The third one comes in. So I'll just repeat because we have just, okay, let me put this one. Now, if I go to the page, you see what happened. You see the way they are displayed. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one. So they are not placed side by side. So I'll make them have the same size first. So I will use the parent element, just like what I was teaching you. I will select this and then say all the pictures inside you. They are the one I want to recite. So let me go to my external to have a clean page. Now I'll say what? Styling only the images. Only the images in div with the class name div2. So if there's any picture in that page, only this one should be. So I will use the parent element dot div2, then space img. Remember this concept. So which means that what? You are talking to only pictures inside what? This. So I will say width. The three of them are the one I'm talking to. Width, 350 ps. Height, let's say 250 ps. So if I go back to the page now, you see what happened? Three of them are now automatically placed. Now, there's a reason. If I check how it's going to display on a mobile phone, if you right click and select inspect, let's see how it's going to be. You can see that what? On a mobile phone, they will display what? Block. While on a bigger device, they will display what? Inline. Are you following? Hope you are still here.
I'm getting it.
All right. I will send you the video when I'm done so that you can go through it and replicate and master some of these things. So now I want to tell you that the reason why this picture came here, not because you have ordered it. This picture came here because this is an inline, inline, inline. So inline will always take the remaining space after the initial word inline element. You created one image here and did not take the full page. This one was created, discovered that, this one did not use the entire space, so there's still some space left. Let me occupy it instead of me going down. This one came and said, even after these two took their space, there's still some extra space. Let me occupy it. So if I bring in another image now, it will be forced to go down. So you shouldn't assume that by default it will display what inline. Still what you do. Let me go back there and show you, because sometimes when it happens like that, you might be deceived that everything is displaying inline. Meanwhile, the calculation was done by itself. So if I come here now and add another img just to prove to you that those objects are not displaying inline, it is because there are extra spaces. So if I say, let me add another one now, and then I go back there, you see what happened? Did you see what happened? This one, this time around, assesses the space remaining and see that this width is not the same thing as this. So this one is too much, so there's no enough space. That is why it went down. So the reason why this image and this image came to the same line, because there is enough space to accommodate them. Now, I want to constrain it. Whether you have enough space or not, I want you to be displaying on the same line. That is what I want to do now. Watch what I'm going to do. So if I come here down and do something like this, I will now use this name. I'll come here. I'll say display. So this is where the flex, I'm using it again now. Display flex. Remember, the four of them, the other one went down before, right? Now watch what will happen. When you display what? Flex, what happened? Did you see it? Did you see what happened? You say display flex. All the elements in that container, you say, because they were inline before. Now, if I reduce the size, let me reduce the width. I want to show you to 200. And then I go back. You see what is still happening. Now, that is because your browser was displaying it inline and you say flex, and then it displays this what block. Now, if I comment this out now, you see that what? Everything came back. So you must know how to float, how to change, how to structure your document in a way that it will be easier for you to talk to in CSS. If I want to move all of them to the center, remember I've shown you a concept before. I'll talk to the container. I'll say what? Margin, because it's a block element. I will just use auto. So if I go back to the page, auto, I expected them to move. Now, if they are not moving by auto, now the reason why it did not move, okay, now you can see the mistake we did the other time. So we are the one that made mistake when this one did not work. We are adding this to the wrong place. Let me show you. This is not meant to be, because when you put it here, you are saying that is the picture that you are displaying, is the picture you are flexing. Meanwhile, this is not supposed to be here. I'll take it off from here. This is for only this, the container holding them. And the item inside that container, they are the one you are displaying what? Flex. So I will now come here and say just this. You see what will happen now? Just this, and I paste it here. If I go back to the page now, you see, they are still, let me take that size back to what it was before, which is a 350. That pushes the last one down before. So if I come here now, you see that what happened is that four of them still take that line. Unlike the other time that when this one could not get enough space, it went down. But now, once you say display flex, you have constrained, you have limited it from going down. That is what you must never go down. You must look for space on that line. That is what you just said now. Did you understand it? Because if I remove it now, look at what
I
happened.
got it.
Good. So if I remove this now, just to clarify better, look at what happened. So this one has gone down because this space is not enough. Now you want to compare it, that I don't care to know. Find space for yourself on that line. Don't go to the next line. That is a communication. Exactly. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right.
I
So,
got it.
okay, good. So if I want to add some space in between them, I want space. I don't want them to be touching each other. What do? I don't want them to be touching each other. I want some space. So I should know the one to talk to. Is it this one we are going to talk to or this? The space in between. I want some space. I don't want them to lap. This is where you are talking to the image. So you can just come here and say,
Using the IMG.
good. So you say what? Margin. Give me what? Margin of 10. 10 PS between yourselves. So if I come here now and check, you can see what? Space here, space here, space here. Did you get it? So it is now better, because when you display the way it was before, the user would think that they are all the same picture because they are together. But now when you space them, the user will know, oh, this is a separate picture, this is a separate picture, this is a separate what? Picture. Am I communicating? Am I communicating?
Yes.
All right. So we have explained a lot.
Yeah, I got it.
Good. We have explained a lot. So I would not want to bring in a new topic so that we can go and master everything, because I have displayed some techniques outside just the listing tags, which I want you to go and see how you can replicate them before the next class. So the next class, we have two topics left. After these two topics, we start building the real website. Don't forget, I told us that what we are doing is we are trying to master what we are going to use, the tools we are going to use to build the real website. After we have explained some basic tags and basic CSS, like we have been doing, then we will now sit down and say, okay, now that we know we have idea of this building block, now that we have idea of this styling CSS properties, now Let's take a project. Let's say we want to build e-commerce site or we want to build educational website. How do we put all this tag, including others that I'm going to introduce? There are advanced tags that I'm not touching. I will touch those ones during the application. That is when we start building the real website. By then, brief explanation of them, you will understand because you are already conversant with the basic tag syntax. Okay? So the two topics remaining is table. We'll learn how to create table, and then we'll learn how to design form that user can fill, like contact form, registration form. So once we have designed those form, once we have done form, then we will now start building the real website. So it's a journey. Web development is a journey. It's not what you learn one day. Okay, so you have to keep practicing. You are doing well, so just make sure that you keep practicing. So once I'm done, I will upload the video to my YouTube page and drop the link so that you can go around all these that I just explained. So what you do for me in the next class, you are going to open your page and then I should be able to see things like this. Once you open it, that is going to be your assignment. I want to see how you play around all these things. So I should be able to see the same thing. Any question? Any question?
That's all clear.
All right. So,
Nope, it's clear.
all right. Thank you very much. So, see you next week.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Good night.